Hey guys, this is Oshin. This is going to be my first impression of a deck that I actually traded. So this was a Kickstarter, I think. I mean, I have the card as well. I've seen a number somewhere, maybe on the box. 2021, okay. I was very tempted by this deck when it was on Kickstarter, but you know, Kickstarter decks are not an easy thing to say yes to because of the price. So I managed to talk myself out of it. So I didn't even check what happened with the deck, but apparently it got published. There's two versions at least. This gold foiled that I have, and a holographic version, which I was really hoping that the person that I traded this deck with, who is a lovely person, and I'm so grateful that they were willing to let this one go and send it to me and all the jazz. But I was really hoping that they would, that they had the holographic version. I didn't ask because I was just hoping that that would be the one that arrived. But I saw that there was a gold version, and I told myself I would be happy with that too, and I am happy with just getting this back because I actually really happy that I have it now. I filmed the flip through. Not sure how much you can see from the gold foil because it's always a very tricky thing, especially with winter lights, because it's pretty much late autumn, winter is coming type of weather. So hopefully at least you can see the drawings in the video and see where the gold foil is. But it's a very interesting deck. I love octopuses, or octopi, not even sure what's the plural, and I'm fascinated by them. So that's why when I saw that this deck on Kickstarter, I was like, oh, but I love these creatures, and it's so cool to have them around. But then I was like, oh, I don't need that, and it's too much, la la la. I managed to talk myself out of it. But now it's here. So it's gold foiled, and the person that I traded the deck with didn't like the cardstock. That was one of the reasons why they decided not to work with it, which is good for me. But to be honest, I'm actually quite happy with it. It's a very slippery one. In terms of slipperiness, I would say that this is as slippery as the Deviant Moon Mass Market Borderless. If you have that deck, you know how slippery this deck one is. So I can already see that I'm gonna shuffle this everywhere because this just happens. But the cardstock, other than that, it feels it has a really good core, and I don't know, I just kind of like how it feels. It's not too thick. It's definitely on the thinner side of things. But because I have small hands, I have actually really do appreciate that. So if you want to see the deck, check out the flip through. And I have a few cards. I only went through the cards quickly because they are very detailed. So I didn't had. I'm trying to get the guidebook out. I didn't have time to just sit down and spend 2 or 3 hours to just get a first impression like that, which I'm kind of sad, but I'm more limited with time these days. But I also appreciate that aspect of the cards because I really like busy artwork, because for me that always allows a reading to pull in a different aspect of a card. And the guidebook is absolutely lovely. It is gilded as well, which I think it's a really nice touch. And I don't know what sort of a gilding is this, but this is a good kind of gilding. I don't think that it's actually gonna chip very easily. It's not the one that you usually get with mass market oracle decks when they cut into your hand. I absolutely hate those. This is not bothering my hand at all. So, guidebook, there's always an upright and a reverse meaning. We have these elemental symbols, and then astrological symbols, and then planetary, and what the card indicate if you ask for a yes or no question, plus days or time frame. So if you like to do, you know, like, when will I meet my soulmate? You will get a spring or, you know, 7 years from now, which is not a good thing because people are, you know, impatient. But I don't know. If you think about it, if someone would say that 7 years from now you will meet someone that you can spend the rest of your life with and be happy, what the hell is that 7 years? Nothing, right? But the time frames are in different formats. So some gives month to month, some gives like years. That was a 2 years with the tower, okay, which is an absolute no. And I haven't really had the time to figure out or, you know, check. Look at the table of contents. Look at that. Why and where that time frame comes from. But I find it very interesting, and you know, even if you don't want to use it, it's an added thing that you can, but you don't have to. But let's see, maybe there's some. But I love that, you know, there's a little key to all the glimpse for the planets, because I still, for the love of me, can only remember a few. So I really do appreciate it. And there's a, you know, an intro how to read the guidebook, which I think it's very useful when you have signs and symbols, especially for someone who is newbie. But yeah, I don't see anything about the frame, where the time frame came from. I will. Octopuses grant wishes, do they? I didn't know. Oh, I didn't say that, but the deck is by Luna Charlotte, which I love that it's Luna, because I don't know if it's their real name or not, but it just sounds cool. So yeah, okay, I'm just gonna show you a few cards that I really liked, but before that I'm gonna show you a few that I don't like, and it's not a hard no for me, it's just something that I would have preferred not to happen. And the only thing is that I don't like is there are these female figures morphed into the octopuses. Am I even in frame? Okay, good, because I'm talking for a while now. So, you know, they are morphed into the animal, and I'm like, I don't like that. It's not my thing. And I mean, here I could pretend that these women or whatever, that, you know, she's carrying the octopus on her head, but like, because look at that. We have the Queen of Wands, and there is no female morphing into the octopus, and even if the eyes are kind of weird, I would have preferred something like this. So that's the only thing. You know, these 3 cards, to be honest, these are like, meh, because I don't like, but you know, that's absolutely a personal taste thing. I don't like anthropomorphological, I don't know the word, you know, the morphed animal human things. I don't know why, but I just don't. I have some heavy or strong feelings about it, which is, you know, I'm working on, because there's a lot of decks but that I can see, and it's not like that I'm gonna just stop watching or reading if there's a card like that. It's just as a personal choice, you know, it's not my thing. The backs are, to be honest, I don't know if you can see how it looks without the gold foiling. The gold foiling is a cool effect, but there's so many cool details, like there's an octopus holding cards here with elemental symbols on them. It's a reversible, there's a lot of tentacles. So I think that even though it looks really cool that it's gold foiled, but it takes away from the back, because you can't really see the artwork, or, you know, maybe you need to stare at it a little bit more. It could be. Is it? It's not completely reversible if you're very, very keen for details, because, or maybe, you know, maybe it's just a little bit out of center, because it kind of feels like that this part is a bit more rounder than this one. But this is something that I wouldn't, I don't care because I don't read reversal right now. Plus, I don't think it would actually be noticeable when you're shuffling cards left and right, especially because your attention would be drawn to the gold foil lines. So yeah, okay, so I showed the queen. Let's leave this one on apart. So a few favorites. The Magician, absolutely, I love what's happening here. There's the possibilities, and there's a lot of like DNA spiral, and there's a fish. There's a labyrinth kind of, you know, spiral inside that's coming out of the animal's head. There's crystal here. There are little spheres that they're holding. So, you know, like one of the tentacles are broken into pieces, and I think it's a brilliant idea for a magician. If you know, it's kind of funny that the eyes are, you know, because they are gold foil, they kind of look like little rubber ducks. Which I know it's not something that you want to think about, but I kind of find it because that could be the lighter aspect of the card as well, you know, because you don't need to necessarily always take the Magician as this really serious, heavy energy, because when it shows up in smaller things, it could be a rubber ducky feeling. High Priestess, absolutely love. It's that type of octopus that lives in a shell, which I think is a very cool idea for a High Priestess. It's usually a hermit card, you know, something like this, but I think it suits the High Priestess. There are planets here, you know, the moon phases probably. Now that I look at it a little more, and there's a flower here, and there's just so many tiny details that you can get into, like, you know, the two. These can be columns, it could be windows that the High Priestess is guarding, and there's a crescent moon on the animal's head. So I absolutely love this. This is such a cool strength. I don't even know what it is exactly that I'm seeing. So, you know, I will definitely have to check the guidebook for this one, but I just love that it's different. And I don't know, I just love the energy of it. It kind of makes me think about opening up your hard shelves to, you know, be vulnerable. It has that motion in the card. It could be some, you know, like something completely different, but my first impression was that, you know, opening up, being vulnerable, which is strength. So yeah, I love that. The tower, I love it. You can see that the tower is still standing, but there are cracks in the foundation because the octopus is actually coming at it. But why I like this card, you know, like first impression obviously, is because it made me think that sometimes outside forces that are destroying our current status quo are not even doing it on purpose. So it's not like someone evil is coming into your life and destroying everything that you hold dear. It's about life happens. Sometimes that life is an animal that just, you know, goes through some ruins and give them a final notch to fall apart. But it's not their fault. They are just there as a tool for things to happen, you know, that spark for the catalyst. And yeah, you will still be left off with a ruined tower. But I think it's a good reminder that the tower card is not about the universe is being against us, or, you know, others are conspiring to destroy us. That's not the tower card. The tower is about reaching stagnation, and stagnation kills leveling up, you know. So stagnation, that stagnant energy needs to go. That's just, I guess, a natural law of universe. but I appreciated the added aspect, because I never thought about that, you know, like what is destroying the tower? Because with the lightning strikes, it's just like a very heavy, quick, sudden energy, but I never really stopped to think that, yeah, that's just a storm, and that lightning bolt doesn't have an emotion towards the tower. With this one, because it's an animal that's coming at the tower, it kind of made me look at it more, so I appreciate it. Five of Pentacles is a different one, so I just like that. I haven't decided how I'm gonna read it. Obviously, I'm gonna check the guidebook, but I just appreciate this differentness, I guess. The Eight of Swords is a really good one, because it's, yeah, obvious, you know, there is usual symbology, but what I like is that the tentacles are even like tied into a knot. I think that that element of the card is something that reflects the card's meaning the best. So these are all just the window dressing for getting the symbology for the usual card. This part is what's good. In my opinion, obviously. Ten of Swords, I think it's an interesting one, because I don't know, I mean, at first glance, the animal looks dead, but eyes are closed, and, you know, but it kind of, I don't know, it looks like it started to calcify or solidify before. I don't even know if they do that, like the animals. I'm not knowledgeable about octopuses as much as I want to be, so I'm hoping that I will be intrigued by stuff like that and start Googling and reading about them, which would be cool. So, you know, I don't know yet how it is, but it has that finality, it has that defeat feeling, which I need in a Ten of Swords. I'm not someone who usually focuses on the new element, because when so far my experience with this card was that it came up when there was a conversation needed to be had about feeling defeated, about losing something, and accepting that, yes, this is actually happening, and you're allowed to experience feeling defeated. You don't have to immediately get up and continue, because sometimes you make more damage with pushing down the feeling of loss, the feeling of hopelessness, or whatever that comes up for you, than, you know, actually staying there and experiencing that. So for me, this one works. And the Five of Wands, because, I mean, look at that. Isn't it like the perfect Five of Wands? Please try to tell me that, you know, where does one octopus begins and where it ends, and like you're like, oh, what, when? So you absolutely have no idea from the outside what is going on in the inside, which is really cool. And even if you're in the inside, you probably have no idea what the others are doing and who's where and what and why, which is the Five of Wands. At least how I read it. So those were my okay, wait, no, these are not. Those were my favorite ones. Oh, okay, so I don't know what I was doing. And there are a few cards that are you know, like easier to read. Like the Hangman is, as in, it's not that detailed. No, it's not true. Not that busy, I guess. You know, there is more black space around the cards, so there are a few of them, and I just wanted to show like the busyness is going on around here, but that's more like a decoration element. But there's a few, and not a lot, like this one, which is interesting because it kind of feels like it's different from like the other illustration. This feels like it's been more detailed, and maybe it's just because it's a grown-up octopus and this feels like a tiny one, or it kind of feels like an alien one, and this is a Four of Cups, so it's a very interesting difference. So yeah, I'm not maybe baby octopuses looks like that, I don't know, or there's a different kind that looks like this, a type of octopus, because I kind of feel like I remember seeing this shape, but it could be just that I saw it in a cartoon or something like that. Yeah, so I will definitely check it out, you know, like what is this? But I just wanted to show that it's not inconsistent. I don't feel like it's just different, which is a good thing. So yeah, these are the cards. As you can imagine, it shuffles really nicely. Overhand is absolutely a joy. You have to be a bit more, careful not to shuffle everything under the table, but it's not bad, like, because it's not longer like the Deviant Moon. It's a standard size. I think the chance of dropping everything is smaller. Let's see, should I attempt to riffle it? Because, yeah. Oh, okay. So if you're a riffle shuffler, you'll be happy with it. I suck at it. I like doing it sometimes, I suck at it especially on camera, but you can just shuffle this really easily overhand as well. So, oh, look at that, we have the strength. I'm gonna leave it that over there. So yeah, I have no idea if this deck is still available. If it is, I will link the creator's shop or something down below. Here's the deck, so you can check her website. But if you Google Luna Charlotte Octopus Tarot, it should come up. But, I will do my best to link something down below if you're interested in, and if it's still available, or at least say something that it's not available currently or something, so you don't get your hopes up. But I'm very, very happy that I have this deck now. And, this is one of those things that if a deck has to find you, if a deck is meant to find you, I think it will, which I always find it very fascinating. And I just love the added, I don't know, woo aspect of the things, Well, but yeah, thank you so much for being here. And obviously, I will have a longer, what is it that I call it, 6 months in or something like that, when I actually have time to work with the deck, my actual experience reading with it, how it pairs with other decks, how easy was it to use, stuff like that. I will post once I have time to work with it. Those are my favorite ones, and I have a few that I need to film, but I'm a bit short on time these days, so we will see when that happens. Probably between the two holidays, Christmas and New Year's, I will have more time, hopefully. But yeah, thanks so much for being here. Drop me an octopus emoji if you watched it till the end, because that's fun. But yeah, thank you so much. Have a lovely day, and hope this was useful, and see you in the next one. Bye.